So I've been making videos for pretty much the last decade, and I have some thoughts around YouTube, around social media, and around this channel here. And so in this video, I want to kind of talk about what's been going on because I've taken a break from YouTube for a bit, took a break from social media as a whole, and there's some things that I've been thinking about that apply to me on my journey, but will probably also apply to you on your journey as well. Also, in the last 3 weeks, I quit coffee. So we'll talk about that and some other updates and whatnot while we're hiking around beautiful mountains today. Now, I'm shooting this whole video on my 28 to 70 f2 using my Nisi Swift ND system, and I have a Black Pro mist on here. I just want to see what this looks like. I love working on this lens, and I feel like I just want to use it more because I use it all the time for my client work, but I don't really take it out for YouTube content that much, but I just love the look of the lens. So I'm gonna shoot on it today and play around with it. But let me pull up my notes here because I've got some thoughts and I've been digging into this for a while. So this channel here was originally built on vlogs. Like way back in the day when I first started this around 2016, I was doing travel vlogs. I was traveling with my wife, go somewhere like Thailand, shoot vlogs. It was all on my GoPro. Not a whole lot of thought put into the production. It was a lot of just like experiential, like follow me as we go and do different things. When the DJI Mavic Pro came out, like the original Mavic Pro, I got that drone and I started making videos around it and it really took off. And so it like sent me down this other path of gear, tutorials, and the whole world of like creating content. And lately with the whole like product cycle and the constant new product, constant updates, I've just been feeling really burned out over gear. And I've just been feeling really burned out in this whole world of just like talking about new gear all the time. And also while this is going on, like the platform has changed. And not only the platform, but I've changed. Being on the platform for 10 years, I made some stuff before that as well. But being on the platform on this channel for around 10 years, like I've gone through shifts because a channel like this, a channel like mine, it's pivoted, it's evolved, it's kind of changed and it's massaged. And there's been some different things that I've done that have sent me down different paths. And I feel like I really needed to step back to kind of figure out a direction and not like a new direction. I'm not going to like completely pivot this channel and do something completely different, but I needed to step back and reflect because like the whole burnout on YouTube is a real thing. All right, switched over here, found a bench. These flies are out of control, but just gonna push through it. So a little update. What's been going on in my life? So I took a break from social media for, I don't know, the last few weeks. In that time, I also quit coffee, and I'll explain why in a little bit. But taking a break from social media has been good because it's let me take a step back. Now, there's been a handful of videos that I've posted, and a lot of those I had already pre-recorded. So I've been posting some stuff here and there, but for the majority of the time, I haven't been really paying attention. I haven't been logging into my account. I haven't really been looking at statistics and all of this. I've just been, watching some YouTube videos here and there and trying not to overconsume other platforms. I went on a vacation with the family and went to the Bahamas. Got to play on water slides for a week. And for any of you who have young kids, you know that a vacation's not really a vacation. So I basically was just on water slides, just around and around and around and around and around. But it was fun. It was a super challenging flight home though. Outside of that, I also went on a little camping retreat with 100 guys from our community here. And that was great because I actually cut off social media for the entire weekend. Like I didn't even check my phone. I was camping, playing games, jumping in the ocean. Like it was great. We were camping right on the water. It was a pretty cool experience. And beyond that, I've been just focusing on my like client work and not putting as much thought into just making YouTube videos this whole time. And there's a reason for that. One of the hard things as a creator is that feeling to always grind, to always be making new content. Because if your career is tied around making content online, well, then you kind of get stuck in this rat race of just always trying to keep up with what everything is going on. We don't have like natural breakpoints, especially if you're following something like a product cycle. There's always new products coming out. And so you have to be intentional. And that's a word that I want you to think about. Something that you should be thinking about for yourself is this intentionality, because you want to be intentional with taking time off as a creator. And if you've been doing this for any period of time, like if you've been doing this for a year, a couple years, you'll start to realize that there isn't really a good time to take time off because there's always viewers. The algorithms want you to always be posting, so you just kind of get in the cycle of just always making content. So taking breaks is something that, we need to do as creators. And it was something that I really stepped back and I was like, I need to just like stop for a bit. Even though there's been like a bunch of stuff going on. There's the FX2, the DJI Mavic 4 Pro, and like all this other stuff has been going on. And it's been kind of nice to just like not think about it. I probably missed out on views. I missed out on subscribers by making content around these new products that are coming out, but it really doesn't matter at the end of the day. And also like getting myself out of that product cycle allows me to kind of like think about what I'm doing with this channel, what I want to do moving forward, and what I want to do with all of the channels that I have, because I have multiple channels. Something also that I noticed is that there's just so many triggers nowadays on social media, whether it's political stuff or it's feeling left out, getting that FOMO, or it's just like videos pop up, they're trying to get some sort of reaction out of you. There's just a lot of things that pull you out of like what you actually should be thinking about. And I think that pulling myself away from social media has been a good break to just like refocus and rethink like why I'm actually using social media in the first place, why I'm consuming, and then also why I'm creating. I think there's two sides to this coin. And so that brings me to coffee. I quit coffee 3 weeks ago, which I know a lot of you think I'm crazy for doing that. The reality is I'm quitting caffeine. It's not really coffee. Like I enjoy coffee, but caffeine's in coffee, and I was trying to eliminate caffeine because I feel like it was just had too much of a tight grip on me and it was affecting me in the wrong ways. Like I just wasn't feeling clear in my head. I just felt like things were kind of in a roller coaster. I mean, part of it was I was drinking these big cold brews that had tons of caffeine, and I was probably just getting way too much caffeine, but I was like this on a roller coaster, like getting super jacked up from all this caffeine and then having hard crashes. And I just felt like it was really affecting me. Now, the first week I quit caffeine was probably one of the worst weeks I've had in a while because I had crazy caffeine withdrawals. I just went cold turkey. Now, you could easily, limit your caffeine intake and slowly bring it down. I was just like, let's do this cold turkey. It was like headaches, night sweats. I had crazy back pain that was like moving down my hips, and all of it, I looked up and it's all symptoms of caffeine withdrawal. And after that first week, it's like things really started to open up. Clarity, that was a big thing that I wanted to try and figure out. I feel like I was just like pulling in all these different directions. I had no clear sense of what I was doing to me, and caffeine just felt like it was making it worse. I would drink more and more coffee and I just wouldn't feel like I could focus on anything. I just felt like there was no stability. And I think it was affecting my sleep too. I just wasn't sleeping well. I was waking up groggy. I had to have that coffee when I woke up. And then I like couldn't get to actually working or doing anything creative. And then by the time I had my first or second coffee, I would be kind of jacked up and ready to go. And then I would crash again. It just was a bad cycle I got myself into. Creatively, I feel like I just haven't been creative. I just feel like I haven't been able to think creatively. So that's why I quit caffeine. And, now that I'm on week 4 now, I feel super clear. Like things are starting to make sense again. And that's why I picked up my camera today, because I feel like I just had that energy. Like I wanted to make something. And so I'm making this video. But let's talk about how things have shifted. And I'm sure you've felt this, you've seen this, like short form content since 2020 has really just like accelerated. And there's so much emphasis on short form content. It's easier to consume and it's easier to satisfy someone watching with short form content because it's quick little stories. And a lot of times people are just kind of in passing. They're sitting down for a minute, they're eating something, they're walking somewhere, and they're just flipping through content. And I'm watching a long form video, might not necessarily be the kind of content that makes sense at that time. And I get it, like short form content is addicting. You can go down these rabbit holes and the algorithm just feeds you more of what you want. But that's kind of changed how YouTube works. And it's changed how this relationship works between the viewer and the creator, because no longer does like the subscriber really matter. It's kind of like, it's been called the death of the follower, because you can have videos really take off and like people might really like that video, but they're not necessarily going to follow that creator. And then when they log in next time, that viewer's just going to be fed more content like that video that they liked. And so it just doesn't work the same. But also what I've seen is that there's been this kind of pushback to this very quick, catchy content. Also like hyper polished content, the Mr. Beast style content where it's, you know, these big concepts and they're very clickable. It's like super quick editing, lots going on. That content obviously does well. People enjoy watching it. But I think there's definitely been a pushback more recently. Like I've really seen this. I've also seen this in the way that I consume content. Like I enjoy videos like this where it's more of a creator just having a conversation, or like a podcast, or more of these long form kind of real talks versus like hyper polished content. Like there's a time and place for both, but I definitely see that there's an audience that is wanting more of this style content. Something that feels a little bit more real, I would say. And I don't think short form's going away, but I also don't think that as creators, we should just follow the dangling carrot and go headfirst into everything that YouTube wants us to do or these other platforms want us to do, because ultimately you're gonna start to lose what you came to the platform to do in the first place if you're just following trends. Because what will happen is you'll see that like a topic works and you'll copy that topic, and then you'll see another topic that works and you'll copy that. So everything just becomes a copy of a copy of a copy. You definitely see this. There was a trend for a little while. I found this on Google Earth, so I went and explored it. Videos blew up. I did some videos on my second channel. They got 30 million views, 40 million views, like crazy numbers. And it's like you're just following these trends of things that work, and there's not a whole lot of originality once you start following trends, and that's all you're doing. So I think there's definitely a shift. Like viewers are starting to change. And you could tell me this, if this is kind of, if you're seeing this as well, is this something that you're noticing on these platforms? Are you seeing a shift? Like, are you seeing that, you know, your viewing habits tend to start gravitating towards these creators who are being a little bit more real, and it feels more like we're back to the old YouTube days where you're just hanging out with a creator and it's not this hyper polished thing anymore. And like something else I've been thinking about is just that like me as a creator has changed. Like I am not the same person I was 10 years ago when I started this channel, and I'm gonna be consistently evolving. And with the way that YouTube works, the way that it wants to put you in this little box, it doesn't allow you to kind of grow with your channel. Like the way the algorithms are working right now is that you want to create a show on YouTube, and you want to have everything kind of feeding that audience, the audience that wants to watch that show. And if you're making anything outside of that, well, then it's gonna not really help your channel. And this is the same thing that happens with this whole concept of shorts. You start getting in these patterns of just making the same thing over and over and over, and it doesn't allow you to be creative, to be flexible with what you're doing. It starts to wear on you as a creator, especially as you grow as a creator, like your interests start to change. You know, over the last few years, I've been doing a lot of teaching, gear, this and that, and I've felt this like urge to like, it's all, you know, it's this imposter syndrome where it's like, I feel like I need to be doing, not just teaching and talking about. And that's what led me down the path of starting another channel, making different styles of content. I also just have a lot of ideas for stories that I want to create, and I didn't really have anywhere to put them. So I started this second channel, but that's almost like split my brain. And I feel like before I did all of this, I just had a much more cohesive feel about the videos that I made. And it kind of led me to burnout. Like I was just focusing on two different things. Like I have these shorts that are doing super well on my second channel, got hundreds of millions of views over there. The channel's at 270,000 subscribers. Like it's not a small channel, but it's like feeding that channel then pulls me away from this channel. And more importantly, it splits my brain, like I was saying, into these two worlds, and then I can't focus on one or the other. But on top of that, I also am running a nonprofit where we're making documentaries for other nonprofits around the world. And I'm also doing client work and a family, and like I also like hobbies. Like I like to do stuff that's not just always making videos. So like there's just way too much going on, and I think as we go down this path of making content, like we can get way too complicated in all the different things that we need to do, and that's where it's like you need to take a step back. Like I'm telling myself I need to take a step back and simplify, because trying to do everything means that you're not really going to do anything that well. You're just going to be splitting yourself, doing way too much stuff. you have to come back to like, why are you doing this in the first place? Let's keep hiking. So when it came down to it, I really felt like I needed these two channels. I needed the channel where I could teach, be the educator, and I needed the channel where I could tell stories, be the creator or the adventurer or the storyteller. But I think that in itself has just like split and made me so confused on what I'm doing and why I'm doing it in the first place. But what I realized is I was just like spinning my wheels. I was trying to do too much. And the reality is, like, nobody really cares. I'm putting on these expectations myself. Like, nobody's telling me you have to do this, you have to do this, you have to do this. And in the end, like, what that's done is it's pulled me to this point where I just felt really burned out. I just didn't feel creatively energized to do anything. So I was gonna try and jump on the swing, but don't know if it's gonna hold my weight. This rope does not feel but if you've made it to this part of the video, I know this has just been kind of a long rambling style video, but comment swing down below and kind of let me know what's going on with you and your journey and where you're at as a creator and kind of what you've been feeling. I'd like to make this more of a conversation, and I'd like I said, I want to have more of a community here, so I want to hear from you. So make sure you comment swing. I know you made it this far. So I think simplification is key. And I think all of us can benefit from simplifying something in our life right now. You know, for me, I'm looking at my whole YouTube social media spectrum and I'm just like simplifying everything. But also just things like our to-do lists. Like, do we put too much on ourselves? Do we have too many expectations? Do we try to do too much? There is something to just like slowing down, taking things slower and just simplifying everything that we're doing so we could be more present for our family, we could be more present for the community that we have around us. And for those of us here on social media, we can be more present with you, with whoever's watching this video, you on the other side of the camera. And I think that's one of the big realizations that I've had from like stopping social media for a bit, taking a break, quitting coffee, just going up here and hiking in these hills and not trying to think always business first, business strategy. It's that element of being more present, of just like being more tuned in to what's important, like why we're actually doing this. And I mentioned this word earlier, why. You have to define your why to actually make sense of everything that we're doing. Having your why as your North Star, like why are you making content? Why are you doing your job? Why are you, I don't know, up here hiking? There's always a why for everything. And if it's clouded, you don't really know, you really can't see, you don't have a clear vision of what that why is. That's where I feel like you just start getting in this world of like doing things and not actually knowing the direction of why you're doing it. You can almost think about it like editing. You start with all of this clutter, like you just have all these different pieces and components, and it could be, a ton of content. Like when I work on my documentary projects, I have so much content. But when you actually go through and you start cutting it, you start laying it on the timeline, you're stripping away everything that's not necessary. And what's left is your core story, the most important parts. And that's ultimately what we need to do with ourselves. We need to cut away all that clutter and focus on the core elements, like what's most important. So what's my solution? I'm sure some of you are asking that. After kind of thinking through all this, I think the biggest thing I need to do for myself is like stop doing so many different things on social media. Like I'm really going to focus here on this channel and really make this, my filmmaking journey and continue to help those of you who want to learn filmmaking and you want to learn how to use gear. Like I'm not going to just completely change this channel and pivot it, but I want to start introducing more of my stories back onto this channel. Like I really enjoy when I make a story-driven piece, whether it's flying to the Philippines and shooting a documentary, or like hiking out to abandoned train trestle in the middle of the desert. Like those kind of stories really fuel my spirit. Like that makes me excited to film. It's that sense of adventure. It's that making something run and gun style in the moment, trying to figure out the problems and trying to figure out what's going on and how to tell the story. And then like crafting it into an interesting piece that I could post here on this channel. So you'll start seeing more of that kind of content. I want to have more conversations with you. I want to make this more of a community. So I'll definitely continue to do videos like this where we just kind of like think through things and talk about different concepts. And with all of my videos, I want to hear from you. I want to hear down in the comments, and like we can have more of this conversation. And it's not so much like, hey, here's a piece of gear, check out these features. Now check out my affiliate down below in the comment and buy it because the person at the company told me to tell you about how cool this product was. I mean, jokes aside, like there is a time and place for making content around gear, telling you about new stuff that's coming out, whatever. Like I'm in a privileged position that I get to work with these companies and be able to get hands-on with a lot of these products before they actually come to market. And so I think there is a lot of value in being able to make content that helps you make purchasing decisions, but I don't want that to be the only thing that you come to the channel for. So I think the whole part of this, what I'm talking about, is that I'm just reframing what I'm doing and like just adding more of the things that I actually care about back into this channel and bringing more of that story back in and doing more around my nonprofit, because there's some really cool stories and there's some pretty interesting things happening with that. We're about to bring on a full-time editor, which if that's you, if you're an editor and you want to work on nonprofit films, hiring on a full-time editor to work with us. I'll put an application in the description if that's something that you might be interested in. But like, we're going to really start putting more and more effort into making this a bigger thing and getting more filmmakers out there in the field and making more films that can create an impact. Like that's something I care about. And that's something I want to continue to show on this channel. And it could just be through doing some more behind the scenes when I'm out shooting those videos. It's kind of a fun way to do it, but also being able to teach you how to make videos like the videos that we're going out there creating is another topic I'm going to explore. So I think the big thing is reframing this channel and not focusing so much on exactly what YouTube wants that they deem as success. And I think everyone's going to have a little bit different experience here. So if you are a creator who's really solely focused on this is the one thing that you're doing and you're trying to make money from this and you're trying to make the most amount of money, then you're going to have to play the YouTube game and you're going to have the one show and you're really going to have to focus on growth and getting those views. But for a lot of us, it's not the only thing that we're doing. And so YouTube is one thing that I do, but I have client work. I have these other things that I do as well. So I don't have to play the game the same way that someone who's just trying to build a business on YouTube does. And this brings us back to that whole concept of why. Why are you making content in the first place? If your why is to make money, then yeah, you're gonna have to play by the rules and the algorithms and really reach the audience that you're specifically going for. But there are other whys. I wanna share what I've learned. I wanna share the skills that I've been able to use to build my business, build my YouTube channel. But I also want to take you along on the adventure and just make some more creative stuff, some more entertaining style videos, because I have that creative itch and I have these stories that I want to tell. So it isn't going to be as a solid of a show as YouTube wants my channel to be, but that's okay because my why is a little bit different and I'm going to be focusing more on that. So I think one of the biggest things is I'm not wasting my creative energy anymore. I'm not going to be splitting up, trying to do too many things. And I'm just going to be focused more back on this space. When I'm making content for YouTube, it's going to be here. I'm making that shift in my own head so that I can focus in on what matters most. And if you're someone who's been feeling stuck yourself, like you've been feeling kind of that pressure of like doing too much stuff, maybe it's time to simplify. Maybe it's time to, try to look at everything you're doing and pull out what's most important. I know that has helped me a lot on my journey, and it's really helped me figure out where my direction is moving forward. So I'd love to hear your thoughts down below in the comments. Make sure you comment swing. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video.